Hi, I'm Dave Karger. Thanks for sticking with me this afternoon on TCM. Up next, a top-tier cast of British actors band together to carry out an elaborate heist in the 1960 caper The League of Gentlemen. Jack Hawkins plays the leader of the group, a former military man who's bitter because the Army forced him to retire after 25 years of loyal service. He hatches a plot to recruit a troop of fellow ex-officers to help him raid a military compound for weapons and then use them to rob a bank in London. All of the men who join him are World War II veterans who have had trouble reintegrating into civilian life. Hawkins plays on their personal problems and insecurities to get them to cooperate and participate in the heist. The League of Gentlemen he assembles includes some of the most acclaimed British actors of the era. In addition to Jack Hawkins, there's also Nigel Patrick, Roger Livesey, Richard Attenborough, and Brian Forbes. Forbes also served as screenwriter, adapting the popular novel by John Boland. Originally, he was commissioned to write the script by an American producer, Carl Foreman, who had Cary Grant or David Niven in mind to star, but that production never got off the ground. Instead, British director Basil Dearden brought the rights and made the movie under the banner of a new company called Allied Filmmakers, a group he co-founded with producer Michael Relf and other British filmmakers, including Richard Attenborough, Brian Forbes, and Jack Hawkins. The movie became one of the company's biggest hits and went on to influence countless heist movies that came after. Released in England in 1960 and in the US the following year, this is The League of Gentlemen. The League of Gentlemen was directed by Basil Dearden, an English filmmaker whose career began at Britain's Ealing Studios in the 1940s. When Ealing began to decline in the mid-50s, Dearden went out on his own, forming a company with producer Michael Relf called Allied Filmmakers. They had worked together previously on the 1959 police procedural Sapphire, which broke new ground with its honest portrayal of racism and intolerance in London's white middle class. But the first film for their production company was an even more ambitious project, which became The League of Gentlemen, released a year later. After this, Dearden and Relf focused on making another socially conscious drama, the 1961 film Victim, starring Dirk Bogarde, which became one of the first major British films to address homosexuality in a sympathetic light. Allied Filmmakers scored an even bigger hit the same year with a movie directed by Brian Forbes, who wrote and co-starred in The League of Gentlemen. Whistle Down the Wind, starring Haley Mills, Bernard Lee, and Alan Bates, also premiered in '61 and became one of the company's most successful films. Coming up, Peter Sellers gives an Oscar-nominated performance in 3 different roles in a Cold War comedy from 1964 directed by Stanley Kubrick.
Next on TCM, Dr. Strangelove, then Carnival of Souls, and later, Rosemary's Baby. Giamatti plays devil's advocate on TCM tonight.